we do have to be finished really well before the castle opens again. I think we've probably got another couple of weeks of digging and then filling it in, and that won't actually take too long. That'll only take a day or two. So I'm still hoping sort of end of February we'll be pretty much finished.
But you're getting to quite a key point in the work, so we can see behind you the two people working, and you think that there's going to be some discoveries maybe in the next few days, next couple of weeks?
Yeah, there should be. We've removed a lot of the what we call post-medieval material, so that's everything sort of 17th, 18th century and more modern material, and we haven't yet had anything medieval. So what I'm really hoping for is sort of 14th or even 13th century. But I am hopeful that under the stones, the cobbles at the far end of the site, we might get the drawbridge pit that we've been sort of hoping for. We should certainly start getting some good medieval evidence that we haven't had so far. There should be something there because as you say, the castle's been sort of progressively expanding to the north in this direction since the early 1200s, and they must have they've sort of built it on a rock. It's quite difficult to kind of visualise this now with all the, particularly with all the outer walls of the castle, but it is basically a rock in the sea that has been sort of expanded outwards, and to do that expansion they've built walls directly on the rock, but they've also had to fill in to create areas to build on as well. So a lot of rubbish has been dumped in here to actually make it a sort of livable space. And what I'm hoping is some of that medieval rubbish will still be down at that end of the Prisoner's Walk.
Okay, but before you get to that section, you've made some discoveries already just in the few minutes that I've been here. A clay pipe. There's been quite a few of those which you think date to the 1700s?
Yeah, they, some of the earliest ones are sort of around about 1600 when tobacco was first introduced, and they're quite distinctive because they have very small bowls because people couldn't afford much tobacco. It was a very high price item. I mean, I know people don't or are encouraged not to drop cigarette stubs as much as they used to, but they are, you know, the cigarette of the past sort of 400 years or whatever, and there are hundreds and hundreds of the stems in particular. And we've had a bit of pottery, sort of iron nails, things like that. A lot of animal bone, because obviously with a garrison of soldiers in here, they've got to be fed, and all the other people who were living in here, and they seem to have dumped a lot of their rubbish in the castle rather than outside. But as I said, still at the moment, still all very much sort of 1600s and later. We haven't got the earlier evidence yet.
And there's one item that you've discovered that you don't actually know what it is. There's photos on Facebook, and you'd like people to, you know, help identify it.
Identify it. It's well, I thought it was bone at first. It might actually be ivory, so it could be really quite something special. It looks a bit like a cover plate that you'd have on an ornate sort of ivory box or something like that. Someone else has suggested a handle of some sort. It looks as though it has a keyhole in it, although it would have to be a very thin key. But yeah, if anyone sort of thinks, oh yes, I know what that is, or they've got one at home, please let me know.
Okay, so we've got another few weeks here, not even a month actually, I think, until Easter this year. So another few weeks, so hopefully some interesting discoveries. And after this, are there any other parts of Castle Cornet that if the opportunity arose, you'd be keen to get digging?
Yeah, there are always bits, but on the other hand, it's not threatened in any way. So, you know, unless there's actually some work that really needs to be done, I'm sort of happy to leave it for another generation of people. I mean, you know, I've had my turn. I worked here as a volunteer. Now I'm working here as a professional, if you like, and it'll be someone else's turn the next time round.
So basically, actually, that's something to look forward to for future generations, isn't it? Castle Cornet giving up its secrets.
Yeah,
that will continue for many, many years.
Yeah, I hope so. Yes.
Yeah.